Hello friends, and welcome back to our channel. On this beautiful, bright day, we are so thrilled to have you here with us once again to dive into the latest twists and turns of General Hospital. I have to tell you, my heart has been absolutely racing watching the younger generation of Port Charles step into the spotlight lately. We are so incredibly used to the adults making all the messy, complicated choices, but right now, the teenagers are stealing the show and stirring up the kind of trouble that would make their parents gasp in shock. I am looking specifically at Scout, Danny, Charlotte, and Rocco. Watching them navigate these incredibly heavy family dynamics feels like looking at a mirror of the past, seeing echoes of Jason, Sam, Drew, Dante, and Valentine in their every move. It is fascinating. It is heartbreaking, and it is a storyline that I simply cannot look away from because the stakes feel so incredibly personal and real to anyone who has ever raised a family. Let us start with that deeply emotional moment when Scout decides to secretly call Danny Morgan for a meeting behind Drew's back. I could feel the tension radiating through the screen the second they locked eyes. Scout is in such a painful, sensitive position right now. She is just a young girl trying to figure out her place in the world, and she feels completely suffocated by Drew's controlling nature. Her father has been keeping her away from her family, putting up walls that she is desperately trying to climb over. Reaching out to Danny in secret is a massive act of rebellion for her, a cry for help from a teenager who feels like she is running out of options. You can just see the heavy burden on her young shoulders, torn between wanting her freedom and fearing her father's wrath. It breaks my heart to see a child feeling so trapped by the person who is supposed to make her feel the safest. But Danny, bless his heart, immediately senses that this is a recipe for absolute disaster. I love how intuitive he is, so much like his father Jason in that regard. The moment he realizes they are meeting in secret, you can see the alarm bells going off in his head. Danny knows exactly who Drew is, and he knows that crossing him is never a simple or safe game. He looks at Scout with this mixture of deep care and absolute dread, knowing that if Drew catches them, the fallout will be catastrophic. I found myself nodding right along with him, wanting to reach through the screen and warn them both to be careful. The boy is just trying to be a good brother figure, trying to be supportive, but he knows the ice they are standing on is incredibly thin and ready to crack at any moment. And then comes the moment that truly brought tears to my eyes and made me respect Scout so much more than I already did. Danny, feeling the frustration and the danger of the situation, lets slip some harsh, disrespectful comments about Drew. He crosses that invisible family line, even though Scout is furious with her father, even though she is the one who initiated this secret rebellion because she feels she has no other choice, she instantly snaps back to defend Drew. It is such a profoundly true, beautifully human reaction. It is that classic family dynamic where she is basically saying that she is allowed to be mad at her dad, but nobody else is allowed to disrespect him. It shows that underneath all her teenage angst and anger, there is still a little girl who loves her father fiercely and expects others to show him the respect he deserves. I was so immensely relieved when Danny quickly realized his mistake and offered a sincere, heartfelt apology. He saw the fire in Scout's eyes and knew he had pushed her too far. It was a tender, grounding moment between the two of them, a sweet reminder that they are still just kids trying to navigate adult-sized emotions in a very complicated world. After the apology, Scout does something so symbolic and beautiful, she jumps into the pool to continue her long-distance swimming practice. Watching her dive into the water felt like watching her try to wash away all the heavy, confusing emotions of the day. The pool is her sanctuary, the only place where the noise of her family drama fades away, and she can just focus on breathing and moving forward. I felt such a deep wave of sympathy for her in that moment, wishing she could just be a normal teenager for once. But of course, in a place like Port Charles, peace never lasts for very long. Just as we think the dust is settled and the emotional storm is past, who should appear but Charlotte Cassadine? Oh my goodness, the very moment Charlotte stepped into the frame, the entire energy of the scene shifted and a cold chill went right down my spine. Charlotte carries that undeniable Cassadine edge, a sharpness and a cunning that she has inherited from a long line of master manipulators. She does not just walk into a room, she arrives with a dark purpose. I found myself leaning closer to the television, knowing instantly that whatever she was about to bring to the table was going to turn this innocent teenage rebellion into something much darker and far more dangerous than anyone anticipated. And I was exactly right to be worried. The conversation that unfolds between Charlotte and Danny left me absolutely speechless. Charlotte does not just want to help Scout sneak around or offer a shoulder to cry on. She wants to go on the offensive. She and Danny actually start plotting to manufacture a massive scandal to frame Drew. I simply could not believe my ears. These young teenagers are sitting there calmly discussing how to orchestrate a trap that could ruin a grown man's life, his business, and his reputation. The sheer audacity of it is staggering to witness. Charlotte's mind works in such intricate, dangerous ways, and seeing Danny get pulled into this web of sabotage made my heart ache for the innocence they are throwing away. They think they are being clever, they think they are protecting Scout, but they are playing with fire of the highest degree. Thank goodness for Rocco Falconeri. Just as this sinister plot is taking shape, Rocco happens to overhear their hushed conversation. My heart soared with hope when I saw him step out of the shadows. Rocco is such a sweet, grounded young man, carrying the strong, protective moral compass of his father Dante. You can see the pure shock and deep worry wash over his face as he realizes exactly what Charlotte and Danny are planning to do to Drew. Rocco cares so deeply for Scout, and he knows that if this terrible plan goes forward, it will not just hurt Drew, it will completely devastate Scout. He is the voice of reason we so desperately needed in that dark moment. The one person willing to stand up and say that this teenage rebellion has gone entirely too far. Watching Rocco bravely step in and try to stop them was one of the most compelling and emotional scenes of the entire week for me. He does not back down, even when facing Charlotte's intimidating and icy presence. He pleads with them, laying out exactly why this framed scandal is a terrible idea and how much collateral damage it will cause to the people they claim to love. I felt so incredibly proud of him for being the mature one in the room. He is trying so hard to protect the girl he is falling for, knowing that Scout is already dealing with enough heartbreak without her friends actively trying to destroy her father. Rocco's earnest, desperate attempt to shut the plan down brought such a wonderful, emotional depth to the storyline, reminding us that there is still goodness and sense in this younger generation. But then, Charlotte does what a Cassadine does best. She lies with chilling, absolute perfection. She looks Rocco right in the eye, softens her expression, and pretends to agree with him completely. She puts on this masterful performance, convincing Rocco that he is right, that the plan is too extreme, and that they should just drop the whole thing and walk away. It was so incredibly convincing that for a split second, I almost believed her myself. Rocco, being the trusting and good-hearted boy that he is, takes her at her word and breathes a heavy sigh of relief, truly thinking he has successfully averted a massive crisis. Watching her manipulate him so effortlessly, playing on his good nature, made me incredibly nervous for everyone involved. The true gut punch comes right after Rocco leaves the area, feeling satisfied that the danger has passed. The moment the coast is clear and Rocco is out of earshot, Charlotte turns back to Danny, her soft expression instantly hardening into a look of pure, unyielding determination. She tells Danny that she only said those things to get Rocco off their backs, and that the dark plan to frame Drew is still absolutely on. I actually gasped out loud in my living room. The level of deception is frightening, and the fact that Danny is still willing to go along with it after seeing how easily Charlotte just manipulated Rocco is deeply concerning. They are moving forward with this destructive scandal, completely blind to the massive explosion it is going to cause in all of their lives. What truly breaks my heart as I sit back and watch this unfold is thinking about poor Scout. We just saw her fiercely defend her father against Danny's disrespect. We know how deeply she loves Drew, even when she is furious with him for controlling her life. If this plot moves forward, And if Scout discovers that Danny, the person she trusted enough to sneak out and meet, is actively working with Charlotte to ruin her father, it will completely shatter her world. It will not just be a simple fight. It will be a profound, unforgivable betrayal. The thought of Scout being caught in the crossfire of this manufactured scandal, realizing her friends are the ones holding the match, is almost too painful to bear. This is setting the stage for a devastating emotional war that will change these kids forever. I am sitting here practically counting down the minutes until the next episode because this situation is a ticking time bomb just waiting to explode. The writers have done a phenomenal job taking these young characters and giving them a storyline with such incredible emotional weight and high stakes. We are watching the next generation make the same passionate, reckless, and deeply dangerous mistakes as their parents, and I am completely invested in every single moment of it. Will Rocco figure out he was played before it is too late? Will Danny realize the horrible mistake he is making by trusting a Cassadine? Or will Charlotte's dark plan succeed and bring Drew's world crashing down? Whatever happens, I know we are in for some truly heartbreaking television, and I cannot wait to experience every single second of it with all of you.